in this fight. A power punch that will set Crawford back. Can he do that? He looks...
Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather recently shared the ring in what was expected to be a simple sparring session. Crawford, who was deep in preparation for a potential fight against Canelo Alvarez, asked Mayweather to step in as his sparring partner. Mayweather, known for his unmatched defensive skills and his undefeated 50-0 record, didn't hesitate to put his gloves on once again. What happened next was a session that left everyone in the gym talking. Crawford's incredible talent was on full display, and it became clear that even boxing legends like Mayweather are not invincible anymore.
Don't get me wrong, Crawford is his own breed, but I cannot put Crawford. Crawford is is his own category, and I would never put him in a box or category with Floyd because he's that different. And then Crawford has moments where he will go toe-to-toe with you versus Floyd would never do it.
In the early moments of the sparring session, Floyd Mayweather stuck to the style that made him one of the greatest to ever step into the ring. His footwork was steady, his head movement sharp, and his counters were landing with precision. Even at 47, his ability to read Crawford's moves was still impressive. But Crawford wasn't intimidated. As a 4-division world champion with 31 knockouts and an undefeated record of 41-0, he had no intention of holding back, even when facing a legend like Mayweather. The sparring started with both men testing each other's moves. Mayweather's experience was on full display as he made Crawford miss by just inches, using small shifts in position to avoid the heavier punches. Crawford, however, stayed calm and focused. He kept pressing, switching stances, and adjusting his rhythm to find openings. As the rounds went on, it was clear that this was no ordinary sparring session. Then came a moment that stunned everyone in the gym. During a fast-paced exchange, Crawford saw his chance and took it. He landed a perfectly timed right hook that slipped right past Mayweather's defense and caught him clean on the chin. For a split second, Mayweather's legs buckled, just a brief reaction, but it was enough to grab everyone's attention.
Stunning. Yeah, he's got to land a big shot or press.
Eso. Eso, venga. 5, venga. 1, 2, 3, 4. Eso. Enjoy.
After landing that punch, Crawford didn't keep pushing the attack. It was just sparring after all. But that moment was still significant. Mayweather quickly got his balance back and carried on like nothing had happened. However, those watching couldn't ignore the importance of what had just taken place. Mayweather, known for his incredible defense and his career spent avoiding these kinds of moments, had been caught in a way no one had seen during his prime years. Crawford's trainer, Brian "Bomac" McIntyre, later reflected on the sparring session with a sense of pride. "That's what makes Terence special," he said. "He has that drive, that hunger. Even in sparring, he finds a way to make his presence felt. That's what sets great fighters apart from good ones."
Enough to get Crawford off that rhythm that he's got going right now. Hook and the right hand from...
Have you thought about going for 51-0, beating Mayweather's record with 50-0? Is that something that you thought about?
I already said I was never gonna beat Mayweather record. That's not something that I wanted to do.
Okay.
Mayweather, ever the professional, took the punch in stride. While his prime years are behind him, his deep understanding of the sport and his ability to adapt in the ring are still second to none. For him, stepping into the ring with Crawford wasn't about proving anything to anyone. It was about staying connected to the sport he dominated for so long. Crawford's performance during the sparring session added fuel to the growing comparisons between the two fighters. Now a 4-division champion and one of only 3 boxers in the 4-belt era to become undisputed in 2 weight classes, Crawford's name is increasingly being mentioned alongside Mayweather's. Sparring with Floyd, even as Mayweather approaches 50, gave Crawford another chance to test himself against one of the sport's all-time greats.
Met with highly effective counters.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. So let's not do that, Canelo.
Crawford has always thrived when faced with challenges. Whether it's dominating his opponents in the ring or moving up to heavier weight classes to prove himself, he has never backed down. The sparring session with Mayweather only strengthened his belief in his abilities as one of the most well-rounded fighters of his era. His skills were on full display, and landing the shot on a defensive genius like Mayweather, even for a brief moment, was a reminder of how far Crawford has come. Mayweather's legacy is secure. At his peak, he was unbeatable, taking down opponents like Canelo Alvarez and Manny Pacquiao with ease. While his reflexes may have slowed with age, his influence on the sport and his place among the greatest fighters in history remain unquestioned. For Crawford, sparring with Mayweather wasn't just a chance to learn from a master. It was also an opportunity to show the world where he stands in the boxing world.
This is eye-opening out.
It really is. I mean, it's astonishing.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. So let's not do that.
The sparring session ended with both fighters showing mutual respect. Mayweather's calm attitude and his willingness to step into the ring with Crawford spoke volumes about his confidence, even as age catches up with him. Crawford, on the other hand, walked away more motivated than ever. He understands the challenges ahead, particularly with talks of moving up to face Canelo Alvarez. Moments like these are the ones that shape careers. For Crawford, landing that right hook wasn't just about the punch. It was about proving he belongs in the same conversation as the legends of the sport. For Mayweather, the session was about showing that, even as time takes its toll, his legacy as one of boxing's greatest minds is untouchable.
Being that you obviously, again, appealing Team Crawford, can you confirm? Are we going to see that fight? Has it been made official? Is it official?
It's on, baby. September 13, baby. Look forward to it. Crawford versus Canelo. Listen how I said it.
Hey, are we getting this confirmation here first?
You understand? Yeah, it's confirmed. Man, what?
Say less.
Crawford versus Canelo, not the other way around.
Boxing fans have been buzzing ever since rumors started about a potential 2025 fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. While the source of these rumors hasn't been confirmed, the idea has already made a huge impact on the sport. Crawford, fresh off a career-defining win against Errol Spence Jr., is at the peak of his career. Meanwhile, Canelo Alvarez continues to dominate as the face of boxing, drawing attention every time he steps into the ring. Although this potential matchup is still just speculation, it's already dividing fans and sparking heated debates among boxing experts.
Terence Bud Crawford, who has already knocked down Errol.
Terence Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but like I say, he's weight classes for a reason. I'm focused 100%.
One of the loudest voices in the debate is Showbiz the adult, who wasted no time questioning Crawford's chances. He quickly compared Crawford unfavorably to Floyd Mayweather, who famously outclassed Canelo Alvarez in 2013. According to Showbiz and others, Crawford just isn't in the same league as Mayweather when it comes to defense, ring IQ, and the ability to adapt during a fight. Let's not forget what Floyd did to Canelo. Showbiz said, "That wasn't just a win, it was a masterclass." Crawford doesn't have that kind of fight in him. However, some fans argue that Showbiz is underestimating Crawford's skills, especially considering that Crawford recently outsmarted Mayweather in a sparring session.
Amazing start for Crawford.
A great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
Yes, it was just sparring, and many of the details remain unclear. But insiders are claiming that Crawford got the better of the undefeated legend, Floyd Mayweather. If true, this would be a huge accomplishment for Crawford, especially considering Mayweather's reputation as a defensive genius. Showbiz the adult argues that Crawford isn't on Mayweather's level. But after hearing about how Crawford schooled Floyd in sparring, one fan tweeted, "What does that tell you? Crawford is the real deal and Canelo better watch out." While sparring isn't the same as an actual fight, it's hard to overlook how much this boosts Crawford's credibility in the boxing world.
The others say like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later. And he's still got that kind of steam.
If Crawford can outthink and outmaneuver a fighter like Mayweather, he might have all the right tools to give Canelo trouble. However, Showbiz the adult doubled down on his criticism, arguing that sparring isn't a true reflection of how a fighter will perform in a real fight. "Look, sparring is controlled," he said. "It's not 12 rounds with millions watching, with belts and legacies on the line. Crawford might have had a good day in the gym, but that doesn't mean he can handle Canelo's power at 168 pounds. This is where the conversation takes a more controversial turn.
Amazing start for Crawford.
Many fans believe that Crawford's move up in weight to face Canelo is not only unrealistic, but also potentially dangerous. Canelo has spent years dominating at middleweight and super middleweight, fighting much larger opponents. His power in these weight classes is well known, with many of his opponents unable to handle his strength, especially as he's moved up in weight. On the other hand, Crawford only recently made the jump to junior middleweight and hasn't yet faced the top-tier fighters in that division. Critics argue that Crawford's greatest strengths, his speed and sharpness, could be affected by the added weight. "You can't just bulk up and expect your skills to stay the same," Showbiz said. "Crawford's walking into the lion's den, and Canelo is the king of that jungle."
None exists just to get that edge, and he is really a junkyard dog.
Canelo ain't gonna come down to 160.
Yeah,
Canelo ain't gonna come down, maybe 166 max if he accepts.
Yeah.
I think Canelo wins that fight based on just the size, power and size. Now, skill-wise, I think Crawford's a better skilled fighter.
The concern about Crawford moving up in weight to face Canelo is understandable, as weight can impact a fighter's agility, conditioning, and timing. This makes it a risky move for Crawford to take on someone as tough as Canelo at super middleweight. However, not everyone shares the same view. Hall of Fame trainer Teddy Atlas offered a different perspective, suggesting that Crawford's technical brilliance might actually counteract Canelo's size advantage. "Crawford is special," Atlas said on his podcast. "He has the footwork, the ring IQ, and the ability to switch stances in the middle of a fight. Canelo hasn't faced anyone like that in years. If Crawford stays disciplined, he could give Canelo real problems." But then Atlas posed an important question. What about the mental aspect?
Fighting against the lefty for the first time in a long time.
Beautiful call.
At the end of the day, I don't want to have credit to face Crawford, but you never know. You never know in boxing. I'll go up and down and fight everybody out there. So it's possible. Why not? It's possible.
Critics of Crawford argue that he hasn't yet faced a fighter of Canelo's caliber, both in terms of skill and experience. While Crawford has been dominant, with notable victories over Errol Spence Jr., Amir Khan, and Murodjani Madaleev, these wins don't compare to Canelo's impressive resume. Canelo has fought the likes of Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, and Caleb Plant, fighters who have tested him in ways Crawford hasn't yet experienced. This difference in experience is one of the main reasons some analysts favor Canelo in a potential fight. However, others believe Crawford's ability to adjust during a fight gives him an advantage. Former two-weight world champion Timothy Bradley, a longtime fan of Crawford, is confident the Omaha native can expose Canelo's weaknesses. "Canelo has slowed down," Bradley said. "His footwork isn't what it used to be, and Crawford can take advantage of that. I'm telling you, if they fight, Crawford wins on points. Mark my words. Another issue complicating the potential matchup is the role of politics and money. Canelo is tied to a lucrative deal with DAZN, while Crawford is not currently tied to any single promoter, giving him more flexibility. Still, both fighters have been cautious about protecting their legacies, leading some to wonder whether this fight will ever happen. It's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to sign the contract, said one boxing journalist. Both guys have a lot to lose, and that's why this fight is so intriguing. Then there's the issue of public perception. A loss to Crawford would hurt Canelo's reputation as one of the greatest fighters of his generation. On the flip side, if Crawford moves up in weight only to be overpowered, critics would say he overreached. This high-stakes dynamic is exactly what makes the potential matchup so exciting. As the debate continues, Crawford and Canelo remain silent, letting the rumors swirl without giving any official confirmation. Still, the boxing world can't help but imagine what could be. One thing is clear. Crawford versus Canelo isn't just another super fight. It's a clash of styles, eras, and legacies.
Terence Crawford said that he moved up and won, and Canelo moved up and lost.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won.
I don't think that was a strong point because Canelo Alvarez actually moved up and won. I mean, he moved up a lot of weight classes, but if you want to talk about...
Terence Crawford is confident that he has everything needed to pull off a major upset against Canelo Alvarez. The two boxing giants are reportedly close to finalizing a fight deal for Mexican Independence Day weekend in Las Vegas. According to ESPN's Mike Coppinger, Crawford will move up 2 weight classes to challenge Canelo at super middleweight, where Canelo naturally fights, and there won't be a rehydration clause. Many experts thought there would be some sort of limit on how much weight Canelo could gain between the weigh-in and the actual fight, given the significant size difference between the two. Crawford is the smaller fighter, having only recently moved up to super welterweight after competing in lighter divisions like lightweight, super lightweight, and welterweight. Meanwhile, Canelo has fought as high as light heavyweight in his storied career. Crawford's trainer, Brian Bomack McIntyre, insists that there won't be any special agreements or restrictions for Canelo, even suggesting they didn't want one. Crawford's confidence is certainly understandable. He's a generational talent, one of only 3 boxers in the 4-belt era, alongside Alexander Usyk and Naoya Inoue, to become a 2-weight undisputed champion. If anyone can overcome the odds, it's Crawford, who remains undefeated after 41 professional bouts. The Omaha native is known for his all-around boxing skills and elite ring IQ, which he believes will be key in winning the fight. I'm going to show what my advantage is when the time comes, Crawford told Boxing Scene. I'm the type of fighter who likes to feel out my opponents and adjust to what they're doing. That's my greatest strength, being able to figure out every opponent I've faced, and I plan to do the same with Canelo. Crawford is fully aware of the criticism. Many say he's too small or outmatched, but he thrives in those situations. That's when great fighters perform their best, he added. Crawford knows he's the underdog, but that's something he's faced before and used to prove the doubters wrong. I'm going to feel great at 168 albs, he said with full confidence. I don't need to worry about the weight. I know I'll feel great. Crawford is aware of the challenges ahead, but he sees them as milestones that come with the territory in boxing. Now, let's not ignore the obvious. Canelo is a force to be reckoned with at super middleweight. His strength and power in that division are well known, and there's a long-standing narrative that no one can match him at that weight. But Crawford isn't intimidated. He's more than just a slick boxer. He's a master at adjusting during a fight. Every fighter he has faced, he's learned from, adapted to, and figured out how to win. The challenge of moving up 2 weight classes to face Canelo is huge, especially considering Canelo's legendary power and his ability to break down fighters with punishing body shots. But Crawford's speed, footwork, and boxing intelligence have earned him a reputation as one of the hardest fighters to figure out.
There by Spence, but the counter and the speed of Crawford on display.
Is it fair to say that Bud gave Canelo the opportunity, not vice versa?
No.
Bud came with the bag.
It's not.
Bud
it's
came
not.
with the bag, nigga.
You can't say that.
Bud came,
yes, you
Bud
can.
came with the... Bud came with the bag, nigga. The reason that the fight happened there.
for Canelo, bro.
Canelo wasn't.
They're asking for Canelo Benavidez. Canelo ain't take.
While Canelo is seen as the favorite, many believe that Crawford's sharp boxing mind and ability to adapt in the ring give him a real chance at pulling off an upset. Crawford is no stranger to challenges, and he's proven himself over and over again by dominating opponents across multiple weight classes. His recent win over Errol Spence Jr. is still fresh in the minds of boxing fans. And now Crawford is aiming to do the same against one of the sport's biggest stars. However, some fans feel that Canelo's size advantage may be too much for Crawford to overcome. After all, Canelo has fought as high as 175 ulbs before, and even though he'll be coming down to 168 ulbs for this fight, he'll still be much bigger than Crawford. It's not hard to imagine Crawford struggling in the clinches or having trouble landing his punches against Canelo's powerful hands.
Everybody keeps bringing up Canelo. I think that's weird, because you'd have to gain 20 pounds.
Yeah.
But they say that's the money fight. That's the mega fight. That's the money fight. That's the only thing that makes sense for Terence Crawford.
Well, catch weight. We can do something out of catch weight.
What weight you think?
Probably 160 or...
Crawford has always embraced challenges, never letting size be an obstacle. Even though he's often been the smaller fighter in the ring, he consistently outclasses opponents with his skill. His ability to control the distance, use his jab effectively, and mix in counterpunches makes him a dangerous opponent, no matter how much bigger his opponent is. While the odds are stacked against him in this fight, Crawford has a way of defying expectations. His trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, is confident that Crawford's ability to outthink Canelo will give him the advantage. With the fight scheduled for Mexican Independence Day weekend, there's no bigger stage for Crawford to prove he belongs in the conversation of boxing's greatest. People have said Crawford is too small, but he's never let size determine his fate. His impressive resume speaks for itself, but defeating Canelo at super middleweight would be the greatest achievement of his career, solidifying his place among the best of his generation. Can Crawford do the unthinkable? If history is any guide, he thrives in high-stakes situations. Crawford's confidence is evident. He knows this is a massive challenge, but he's been counted out before and has always come out on top. That's the mentality of a true champion. No fear, no excuses, just a relentless drive to win.
Going to the third, stab jab to the body by Spence. Quick combination, upstairs.
When the fight finally takes place, all eyes will be on Las Vegas. Can Terence Crawford overcome the significant size disadvantage and end Canelo's reign at super middleweight? Or will Canelo prove once again that he's the king of the division, shutting down any questions about his power and skill? No matter the result, one thing is certain. This is a fight that boxing fans will be talking about for years to come. Terence Crawford is ready to show the world that he belongs among the all-time greats, no matter what the doubters say. What are your thoughts on the fight? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more updates. See you in the next one.